what I wanted to learn today is just there's an amazing thing that happens in the parsha. We know that in the parsha Rivka is introduced to us through this incredible experience that happens with Eliezer, and the Torah goes to quite a lot of lengths to really try and understand what what happened and what the story was, and it tells the whole story. And the Gemara describes how we learn a lot from what Eliezer, the way Eliezer spoke, and there's a whole lot going on. There's so much to do, but towards the end of the story, the Torah tells us that after Eliezer has already explained to Lavan and Betuel exactly what happened, the question is whether or not Rivka is prepared to go. The Torah says the Torah describes how it says Vayan Lavan Betuel Vayomru Me'Adonai Yatzah Davar. All of a sudden they become very frum. Right? They say Hashem's brought this thing. Lo nuchal daber elecha ra or tov. We can't disagree. We can't say good things. We can't say bad things. We really are so keen on this. Hine Rivka lefanecha. Here's Rivka kach valech. Take her and get out of here. But he isha leven adonecha kasher diber adon. Let her be the wife of your of the son of your master, as Hashem spoke. And he's extremely happy. Eliezer, he bows down, and then he takes out all the goodies. And this is really what they wanted. He takes out all the gold and the silver, and it says Vayotzeh eved klei kesef or klei zahav bagadim. He takes out all the klei kesef, klei zahav, the gold, the silver, everything you can imagine that he's going to give to that they think they're going to get. They're going to get the money out of him. And what does it do? Vayiten Rivka, and they give it to Rivka. Migdanot natan la'achea ve'ima. But he also gave migdanot. What's migdanot? Just like dried fruit. That's what Rashi says. Migdanot loshen magadim shevi imo minei perot shel Eretz Yisrael. He brought the perot of Eretz Yisrael, the fruit of Eretz Yisrael. Can you imagine how excited Lavan, Betuel, and the mother, all they're so excited. Now they've got dried fruit. It's like when we were younger. I remember when I went on Upan the one day, it was 1985, and my mom phoned me from South Africa, and she said, "How am I doing?" I said, I'm starving because I didn't like the food." So that was it. So she sent me, we were with for 3 months. It took me 4.5 weeks to come, a pack of like dried fruit. So it was like very exciting, but that's very exciting. But do you think they cared about the dried fruit? And clearly they didn't care about the dried fruit. But either way, and everybody eats and they drank. And and I got up in the morning. And he said, "Send me to my master." Her brother and her mother said, so hold on a second. Now maybe we should hold her a little bit. Maybe we should keep her a while, and then she can go. And the way Rashi says, where was Betuel? Where was Betuel in this? It just speaks about her brother and her mother. The Rashi says that he didn't want her to go. He was going to try and hold her back. So therefore, what? So the angel came and killed him. So this is the next day. This is the day after their father and husband has just died, and they said, "No, we want her to stay with us." For how long? For yamim or asor, for days or for 10. So Rashi says, "What is yamim shana?" Let us stick around for another 12 months. Why? In order that she can beautify herself. So that we see that also with in the time of Esther, that they stayed in this harem for a few months. They could beautify themselves, and maybe even just for 10 months. So maybe they don't need as much. And Vayomer Alehem al ta'achru oti. He says, so Eliezer says, no. You can't delay me. You can't make me tarry. Hashem's made everything successful. Let me go, and I want to go to my master. And they said, call her, and let's ask her. From here, the Gemara says, that you can't just marry off a woman. She has to have her own. She has to agree to it. So let's call her. Now it's interesting because they never said this before. All of a sudden, there's some type of change of heart. It's not clear why, but it could be because they thought they were going to get something more out of it. They were so excited, and when all they got was the dried fruit, the dried mango, they got a little bit upset. Could be, but either way. So now they're saying, let's ask her. They call Rivka, and they said to her, and they said, do you want to go with him? And she said, I'm going. And Rashi says, I'm going whether you want or not. She recognized, she understood that this was an opportunity for her to move out of the wickedness, of the evil of the house of Lavan, and start again and reinvent herself, become the real person that she was. And the interesting, the description of her, when Eliezer sees her, it says that she was Yafat to Armaod. She was very beautiful. V'ish lo yad'a, and she didn't know any man. And the question is, what does that mean? So firstly, she was beautiful. She was beautiful the way some of the Mefarshim explain. She was beautiful inside and out. It was very lovely. And v'ish lo yad'a, no man had ever known her. That means that she had no relationship in the depraved society that they lived, which it was, that she was able to keep herself separate from all the men, despite the fact that she was so beautiful. And she recognized that here was an opportunity for her to go into a holy space. Vayishalchu et Rivka achotam ve'et meinikata. So they send Rivka, their sister, with her witness, ve'ta'eved Avraham ve'tanashav, and the slave of Abraham and all his people. And now listen to this. Vayevarchu et Rivka, and they blessed Rivka. Vayomru la, and they said to her, Achotenu, our sister, at Chayei alfei revava, you should be as hundreds of myriads. Vayirash zarech et sha'ar sonav, and your seed should inherit the gates of his enemy. Okay, Rashi says, At v'zarech tekablu ota bracha. That you, and Rashi says that what it means is that you and your children will receive this bracha. And what is the bracha? The bracha that was said to Avram Avinu, where it says harbe zarech, that says by Avram Avinu that his children will be many. That was said at Har Moriah. So now they're saying that bracha that we heard about, that Avram Avinu got, that should be the bracha that you get. Yiratzon sheyeh otah zera mimech. That bracha should come from you, the woman that is going to be the founder of all those people that are going to be Abraham's progeny, and no other women. Okay, but the question really here, and is a powerful question, and that's the question is that there is a very special minhag, the very special minhag that we have. It's a beautiful minhag. We have this concept called the Bedekin. What's the Bedekin? The Bedekin is the stunning time where the groom hasn't seen his bride for the week, assuming that they've kept to that. He hasn't seen it, and what he does is so beautifully, he goes up to her, and there's always the tears, and it's always beautiful. It's the most wonderful, wonderful moment. And he goes up to her, and he takes the veil, and he covers her. And after he covers her, after that moment, there's something very special that happens. And what's special that happens is that there's a bracha. There's a bracha that is given to her. So Rav Aryeh Kaplan says, after the veiling, it's customary to bless the bride with a blessing that was first given to Rivka. That this bracha is given to her. And you should inherit all the gates of your enemy. Okay, so if that's the case, it seems to be a bit strange. Like, why is it that the bracha that's given by Lavan and his mother, who are not the most savory people in the world, to their daughter Rivka, becomes this beginning of the brachas of the day of the wedding. So, so firstly, we could say very simply that there's a sign of modesty in the fact that he covers her face. That's one thing, but the bracha that is given is because this is the first marriage that we have in Jewish history. And so therefore we, in a way, reenact this marriage by saying the brachas that come through. This, of course, is the bracha that Yitzchak, that Lavan gives to his sister and the mother gives to her daughter, but it's a bracha that's heartfelt. And so since it's a bracha that's heartfelt, even though it comes from a very strange source, nonetheless it is that way. But just as an aside, the whole idea of him placing the veil over her face, yes, on the one hand it's from modesty, but there are other opinions as to what it's all about. One of the things that a husband promises in the ketubah is that he'll provide his wife with clothing. And one of the concepts is, as he places the veil over her face, the groom is symbolically doing that thing. He's taking the clothing and putting it over her. So therefore, kind of like it's the act of setting up this house together. So it's quite an important and fundamental part of their lives together. And that's important. But the Pardes Moshe says it's very difficult, really, to understand what's going on here. That we have this bracha that comes from Lavan. And he says we have to understand who gives the bracha to the bride. So he says, let's look carefully. And this is such an important thing because it's going to give us a little bit of understanding on the beginning of next week's parasha as well. So he says the following. Why, when we give the bracha, we understand why Lavan said Achotenu, our sister. But when we give the bracha, we use exactly the same words as Lavan. And if we're using the exact same words of Lavan and we call it Achotenu, why is it so important for us to use that? Why don't we just say, you should be hundreds of myriads? Why do we have to say that whole thing of Achotenu, my sister? He says the following. Yaakov and Esav were two opposites. Who Ya and Rivka Hayotah Sadeket Bat Rasha. Why is it that Yaakov and Esav are these two opposites? Because Rivka, who herself was a tzaddikus, right? She comes from she's the daughter of a terrible human being. Betuel and Lavan, they were terrible. They were really, really Rishon. Lakach, therefore, Hayatam Moledet Echad Tzaddik ve'Echad Rasha. Therefore, it was appropriate that she would have as her children one tzaddik and one Rasha. So Lavan, when he gives her a bracha, says Achotenu, my sister. But when a person says Achotenu, it doesn't only mean the physical sister. It also means a sister in values. Like we say, she's my sister, my brother. We speak about that not only of our actual family, but of people that share our values, share our lives, share our experiences. And so Lavan, when he says to her, our sister, Klomar says, the Pardes Moshe, Chelek achotah shelanu shehi chelko shel Esav. I'm giving this bracha to my sister. I know she's going to be marrying a tzaddik. I know that she's going to be marrying this very holy man. But from the part of her that comes from us, from this line of people who are not so refined and not so fine and not so connected to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, that my bracha is that that part that they should be like hundreds of myriads must come from Esav, come from that negative part. That's where all the numerous should come from. Lakach, and therefore, listen to this. Chazal said that Rivka was barren. Why was Rivka barren? Doesn't make sense. Here she is. She's the wife of Yitzchak. She needs to have children in order that the nation of Israel will begin. But she doesn't. She doesn't have them. And it's a very difficult process. She goes through And eventually, there's this. It says that Yitzchak and Rivka are sitting on opposite sides of the room. There was a deep tension in the relationship. That's next week, and he davens for her. Says the Pardes Moshe. The reason is she didn't want the bracha of Lavan to come true until Yitzchak davened. And therefore her progeny are filled with the bracha of Hashem from Yitzchak. And that's why it says so to us. That the minhag of the Jewish people is to give the bracha to her, to the kala at the time of the covering. Bracha zot, this bracha of achotenu, where we say, we, the ones who want to give this bracha over to this beautiful bride, we say achotenu, our sister, right? Why achotenu? Because leman lahafoch birchato lebirchatenu, to change the bracha that Lavan gave his sister from his bracha, which had evil intentions, into our bracha, the bracha with only the best intentions. We say achotenu chelek shelanu, that you are part of us. Shu chelek Yaakov. The part of us that is the part of Yaakov, not the part of Esav, because we're giving you the bracha. That should be la'alfei revava. That should be for hundreds and hundreds of myriads. And that's such a beautiful idea for us to think about, that we are able to take through our bracha, we're able to take the negative intention of other people's brachas, or other people's curses, or other people's things, and other people's thoughts through our brachas. When we say them heartfelt, I mean, you had a chuppah, it's so beautiful, those brachas are so heartfelt, so beautiful. We can change the course of history through our beautiful brachas. And in fact, that is what one of the Mefarshim explains. Like that, why is it that that we say this bracha under the chuppah at all? And it's a very beautiful thing. That why do you have to give a bracha? And he says that, you know why you have to give a bracha? It's quite simple. Because under the chuppah, who's the one who's giving that bracha? Who gives that bracha? So the father, the family member, it's somebody there, someone close to the bride. Why is it so important that they give the bracha? So they explain it's very simple. The reason why they give the bracha is that we understand that the way he says, Hatam de Chazal lamdu zot milavanu betuel, kedei shelo yale alev bnei Adam. A person shouldn't think, lachshov de birkat chatanim oseh roshem rak tzadikim agadolim mevarchim ata. You shouldn't think that the bracha that you give under the chuppah, or any other bracha, in fact, can only be given by tzadikim gadolim, these great tzadikim, right? Ma she'ein kain. You mustn't think that it can only be from great tzaddikim. And when we give a bracha, like, what is it? How big is it? What does it mean? It doesn't mean anything. Chazal said, where do we learn that you got to make this bracha, that you make birchat chatanim, which is the bracha that you say under the chuppah? Who gave her the bracha? Betuel and Lavan. Betuel and Lavan, the most evil, horrible, disgusting, rambunctious people. In Cain, how much more so? Kol she'Cain she'anu. We, just the simple yid, ra'uim levarech bircha chatanim, v'shekavein birchotenu b'milo'ah. And we can really have kavanah that our bracha should come true. And I think it's not only true of birchat chatanim, not only true of the bracha that we give under the chuppah, but any bracha that we give. In fact, the Ramchal says we need to search for opportunities to give other people bracha. Why is that so important? So not only because it gives them bracha, but he says also we have to create an ayin tov. If we create an ayin tov, like a more positive outlook on the world, right? When we create that, everything's better. If we concentrate on the bracha itself, right? Not on the like formalities. Now, often we like worried about, is it the right way to do it? How should we do it this way? But we don't have to do that. We can just make the bracha. If we look for those opportunities, we can give brachas all day long, commenting on anything positive, saying a simple good morning. That can all change another person's day, and we know that. And so that's the process that the Ramchal says that we have to try and do. We learn it from this. It's so important for us to think about that in such a profound way. If you look at the actual bracha itself, it's quite an interesting bracha. On the one hand, you should be hundreds of myriads, and the other one is that you should be able to overcome your enemy, right? So the question is, what is it? What do the two have to do with each other? What has it got? Why is that what Lavan gives his sister the bracha? The Kli Yakar explains that look where she's going to. She's going to the home of Avram Avinu. Now, Avram Avinu was an unbelievable human being. Avram Avinu was a man of great chesed, a man of great impact, he was a man who really, because of his love of others, everybody loved him. And so therefore, he knew that he would always have allies in the event of something coming against him. We know that he was by the Elonei Mamre. Mamre was his friend. Mamre and Einer, these were people that were with him wherever he went, whatever he needed. It's amazing to have good friends like that. They would always have his back. And what was understood was clearly that Rivka was also a woman of great chesed. And because she was a woman of great chesed, she would never really be in danger of anything. However, so if she's not going to be in danger, what does she need such a bracha? A bracha that she'll always be able to take over the gates of her enemy. The gates of her enemy she's not going to have. She's so beautiful. She's so wonderful. She's a balas chesed. However, we need to understand that at the same time, the chesed that she does for others, she's got her opposing half, who is Yitzchak. Yitzchak is not chesed. It's not that he's not a Baal chesed, but he's not chesed. What is he? Yitzchak is Gevura. And Gevura is a space of a little bit more din. It's a space where you don't always make friends. It's a space where it's not always the most comfortable place. And because of that, there may be conflict. And so therefore the bracha is given from Lavan, interestingly enough. It's still amazing that he gives us that she should be able to vanquish the gates of her enemy. How? By bringing in those you Rivka, you should become like hundreds of myriads. What does that mean? That hundreds of myriads should be like you. Ba'alei chesed, people who constantly do chesed, love, warmth, giving to one another. Because then in the event, when the Gevura starts to show, and there's a certain level of animosity, right? What will happen is that chesed will be able to be bigger than that animosity. The final idea of Mordechai is Rachi. In the Birkas Mordechai, he says, we have to understand, what is a bracha? What is a bracha? A bracha really, at the end of the day, is a destiny, and it's also a mission. Abraham was known as he was like the father of bracha, whatever, whoever blessed him would be blessed. So too, Rivka now is going to be the one who's going to take that through what she does, she will also be a blessing to others. And perhaps we need to learn that the things that we do can impact on multiple people as we don't even really see that. And that's why we have to fill this world with this incredible amount of chesed. And ultimately, that's really what the bracha is that we're giving here. At tahela al vava. That the Torah teaches us that Lavan and anybody can give a powerful bracha. It tells us that a sincere bracha, when I say achotenu to this bride, you, my sister, I'm giving her a sincere bracha, will impact on her as an individual, but also on the generations to come. And so therefore what we can say is that this, we don't always see this as the parsha of bracha, but in that one single line of achotenu atayela al vava, we learn the lesson of the incredible bracha that they give to the neshama of Rivka. And when we give under the chuppah, when we see that, we know that we believe that the souls of all the generations, are there and they are present. And we say, and we look to them, and we look all the way through all of them, all the way through to our mother Rivka, who received this bracha. And we say to her mother Rivka, look and see that this woman who's about to go to be married, to start her own family, she's carrying your heritage of Chayei al-Fei Vava. She's carrying the heritage of your chesed, of what you represented in this world. And so therefore it becomes a powerful bracha, because I'm giving it, because you're giving it, because we want to see only beauty and goodness that can come out of this marriage. And please God, it'll just enhance our understanding of weddings going forward, enhance our understanding of what brachas mean. And please God, we should all be blessed to be able to create beautiful homes. And to Heather, we wish you a beautiful mazel tov. And please God, we should just be able to share simcha